What's up guys, it's the Cheapster here back with another video. So about a month ago I did a react video on a guy named Nate O'Brien on YouTube where he did a video where he talked about how much he spent in a week. And he did get Cheapster approved. But something I noticed when I was actually looking at his channel was a video he had at the top of his channel called Living in My Truck, which I thought was so interesting because I've always wanted to live like the van life or the truck life or just living out on the road like that. It seems so fun to me. So I thought it might be cool to do a react video to this video where he actually gives a tour of his truck and how he lives in it. I think this kind of thing is so cool. I really want to do this sometime. My wife is always telling me she wants to get like a travel van where we can like sleep in it and stuff because it would just be so fun to be able to travel with that. So you have the flexibility to say you can stay at hotels and stuff if you want to, but you can also save the money and just, you know, pull over to a rest stop. It's definitely the cheapest way to be living in a van. I'm still going to keep my house though. I'm not just going to live in a van. Probably. Maybe I'll change my mind down the road. But to get some good ideas of maybe how I can do this, I'm going to watch this video with you guys and see how he's able to do it. So this video, like I said, is from Nate O'Brien, who has 1.11 million subscribers, which is amazing. This video has 230,000 views. It's called Living in My Truck. So let's go ahead and start off by giving it a like and subscribe, which of course I already am. But if you guys want to check out this video, I have the original link of this video down below in the description.
I'm gonna show you guys around. I'm living in my truck. I did this on purpose, so I'm not like homeless.
First off, wherever he is looks awesome. It's very mountainy back there. His what I spent in a week video was Philadelphia. I don't think that looks like Philadelphia. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. This looks more like the West, but I guess if he's living in his truck, he could be anywhere by now.
But I moved out of my apartment. I'm living in it now. So I'll explain why and everything else in between, and then I'll give you guys a tour and show you around a little bit and kind of my entire setup, what's going on here.
I gotta say right now, it kind of looks like there's a coffin in there. I know that's a bed. If there was no pillow, I would think that's like a coffin with a blanket on it.
Okay, so yeah, the biggest question.
Okay, hold up. There's an axe now. It looks like there's a coffin and there's an axe. I'm getting some questions here.
So contrary to what people might think, it has nothing to do with money. I mean, it does save me a lot of money living in my truck versus in my apartment. But it was more so, you know, I was just thinking about over the past 4 years, I probably spent, you know, like $40,000 on my apartments over those 4 years.
Yeah, that's so true. Especially like at a younger age when you're just living like the apartment life. That's the best time to do this because like right now for me, I just bought a house. So it's like, okay, well now you can say you're getting all the equity and stuff. So it actually becomes like a more financial decision that's like good for you. But when you're younger, you're just throwing that money away at apartments. We just finally stopped doing that. I hated all the years we did that. Just you don't get anything for that other than just the experience of the apartment, which is worth something. But yeah, this is the time to do it when you're young and you can just travel and then save that money.
Then when I looked at where my time was actually being spent, I think probably I was spending 1 to 2 weeks per month in my apartments, and the other 2 to 3 weeks per month on average were being spent somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, that is exactly like what it was like with me and my wife too when we were living in our apartment. I feel like we spend barely any time. Like my calendar is right here. It is like every weekend there's stuff going on, usually where we're leaving. So like I said, right now when I have a house, it feels very different. But when you're living in an apartment, I think I did the math on our old apartment and it was like $30 something a day. And I had never broke that down really to think about that before. And that's not even that expensive of an apartment for me and my wife, a 2-bedroom apartment in Greenville. But once you break that down, I'm like, $30 a day. Like you could be pretty close to getting like a cheap hotel for about that price and just not have to be living in one place. Not to mention a lot of the times we were staying with like family and stuff. So that didn't cost us anything. So if we didn't have that apartment and I guess just kind of like bounced around, we may have actually saved money, but then had all the freedom to do that. So I don't know. I always thought about that, but my wife worked a job where she had to be, it was a 40-hour week, Monday through Friday, still works that now. So we didn't have complete flexibility to do that, but it would have been awesome to just say that because you don't really realize like how much you're spending on an apartment. And how much you could really just save if you weren't just spending all that money on an apartment. But this is amazing because this gives you the best of both worlds. You get to travel and you have a place to sleep at night.
So when I looked at it that way, it just kind of made sense. You know, why don't I just move into my truck, at least for the summer? Not like I'm going to be doing this when I'm 30 years old. I'm 22, so I figure.
Oh gosh. He said, not like I'm gonna be doing this when I'm 30 years old. I'm about to turn 29 like in a week and a half. I used to use that term all the time. Like, oh, not when I'm 30. I'm gonna be 30 pretty soon. That's coming up quick. You're so free at 22. This is literally the perfect time to do this. I wish I would have done something like this when I was like 22. That would have been awesome. Especially because I was still living at home at the time I was 22. I'm sure a lot of people are at that age when you're like getting out of college or you're just finishing college. That's a really great time to be able to do this, and just it'll be such a fun experience.
Why not do this now? Have the ability to roam around, and right now I'm up in the Rocky Mountains. I'm in Colorado.
Colorado, I knew it. I knew that looked like the West.
I think this weekend I'm gonna go to Utah, to the desert, and then from there I really have no idea. But I just wanted that ability to move around a bit.
I'm so jealous right now. Like that's just such a fun life to be like, I'm in Colorado, maybe I'm gonna go to Utah. I don't know. I'll just see what happens. Like that is so much fun to be able to do that. And he said he's just doing it for the summer. That's almost kind of like the best, because it'd be hard to do this like long term. You'd probably get sick of it. You'd start to want like your own space and stuff. But this is so great. He's making me want to do this so much.
I was gonna put a desk in here. It's a little bit tricky to do that, and I had my iMac in here for a minute, but it started to fall over, and I didn't want that liability of having like a $5,000 computer in the back of a truck. So,
all right, Nate, the whole Cheapster approved thing. You got an iMac. I may have to take that away. I'm sorry. iMacs are not Cheapster approved. Look, I'm a Mac guy. I got an Apple. I got an iPhone. It's not like I'm not an Apple guy, but when you actually look into computers, it is so wasteful to get an Apple computer. But I just built my first desktop PC, and oh man, like once you do that, you just can never go back, because I spent not anywhere close to what you have to spend on like getting a new MacBook or something. It runs way better than a MacBook today. iMac is not Cheapster approved. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys are like super hardcore Apple fans, and I get it. They're good computers. They run pretty well, but when you start looking at PC and building your own and stuff, and how much money you could save, although it's gotten kind of expensive now, you'll never go back once you do it.
Let me show you a little bit what's going on here. So the basics here, this is just a junk bin. This already looks pretty bad, but whatever, just ignore that. In here, this cabinet I built here is pretty simple.
That's cool.
Shout out to my dad for letting me use his tools and helping me with this, because I don't have any tools right now.
That's the problem with being a minimalist. When you need to do stuff, you don't have the tools for it.
In here, I just store a lot of kitchen stuff. I have my food back in there. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 3 weeks.
That's kind of all you need right there. I mean, when it's just you really don't need much other than food and things to cook your food, and I guess clothes and stuff.
I'll be on the road at least for the rest of summer, but I kind of wanted to just use my truck as my home base instead of having an apartment as a home base.
I do kind of wonder with this. So if you're using your truck as like your office, how's that work for taxes? Is it all tax deductible mileage? Does your truck count as your home office? Is your whole truck now a business truck? I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I kind of wonder how that works with like accounting and everything.
So this floor is just a piece of plywood, and then I put some nice flooring, like just some whatever vinyl stuff on it. For 3 pieces of plywood, it was like $250 for 3 pieces of plywood, because lumber prices or inflation.
Oh my gosh, $250. What? I know that lumber prices have been crazy, but my goodness. Really? That's how much. Looks like he's got like 3/4 inch thick, but on the bed and stuff, I guess you'd probably need that. Like you need it to be pretty sturdy to hold you up. But I wonder what he put on the bottom, because I would just be putting like 1/4 inch of the cheapest plywood on the bottom, especially because he covered it up. But if that's what that is, oh man, I had no idea that prices were that high. I'm about to work on my house and be doing some renovations here. I'm gonna find out pretty quickly then if that's the prices of lumber. Maybe I won't be doing those kind of renovations where it has to do with the lumber quite yet.
The mattress, it's only 4 inches thick, but it's honestly perfect. It's like the perfect firmness. I made it 7 feet long, because I guess I'm a little tall, so. But it fits pretty well like this. I guess my feet look like they're hanging over, but I have so many pillows up here.
So it's 7 feet long, but his feet still hang over. Man, how tall are you? That's crazy. That's smart though, just to get like one of those like pads for like a twin size or like a I guess that's probably like a, what are they called, college twin or whatever. That's really all you need. I feel like mattresses are too soft most of the time anyway. I'd probably be fine with that.
Just built like a really basic, you know, this doesn't look really amazing, but just put a basic latch on there and cut it out with a Sawzall. So
that's pretty cool. Hey, it works. That's what matters, functionality.
But then I have this little light here because it's all connected to this battery back here, which is a 500 watt Jackery battery. A little bit pricey. This thing was like $500, but it's 500 watts. It has really great ports. It's super easy to connect to.
$500, man, that's expensive, but I do feel like the battery is probably going to be one of the very important things with this. I feel like that's probably a little too much, though. I know I've seen some of these batteries that they have at Costco. I don't know if they're 500 watt, though, and that's the thing. This probably is like a way bigger wattage than most things. You probably have to spend a lot of money to get a lot of power out of a battery. But I saw this one battery at Costco. Actually, my father-in-law has it, and it like is pretty great. I really want to buy it because it's like meant to be in your car. It's like a spare power. It's got tons of stuff on it. It can like inflate tires. It can use plugs. It can do USB. It can do like the car charger port. It's got like everything. I kind of feel like it might have even been a radio. Like, it's crazy. It's got a bunch of stuff, and it's definitely not $500. But I don't know. I'm assuming Nate probably looked into this. You know, he, based on his spending, on his what he spends in a week, he seems like a cheapster to me. So I think he probably looked into this. Probably it's just an expensive thing if you want a good battery in the car. So I mean, that's what it is. Now I'm critiquing the spending. It's not supposed to be that type of video, but when he's throwing out numbers like 250, 500, it gets difficult. I feel like I gotta critique the spending. It's just so much money.
I have a solar panel for it, so I just hook all that up. So when I'm in the desert, I don't have to worry about, you know, how am I going to get electricity to charge my phone and my laptop.
That's awesome. I wish he went over the solar panel and like how much that costs and what he got for that, because I didn't even know you could like just buy a solar, like, is it just on the roof of his car all the time even when he drives it? Like, that's crazy. I wish he talked more about that, because that's really cool. I want to know how much like that costs.
So I have a lawn chair that's sitting out there that I just set up in here, and I can just work from my laptop like that, and it's a pretty simple setup using
smart.
that.
That's a little redneck, but hey, that's smart.
Let's see. Just have, you never know when you're gonna get like attacked or something, so gotta have something there, I guess.
Attacked by what? Like a cougar? That thing is massive. Hey, I'm all for protection. That's good to have something, especially when you're riding around like that. You should have something.
I also have that axe over there, just in case, you know, because this doesn't really lock.
I told you that axe is looking sketchy. It's all taped up. You know, it's been used multiple times. You know, this whole living in your truck thing, Nate, is maybe starting to look like you might be a fugitive. You do something in Philadelphia, you trying to get away, just gotta lay low a little bit in your truck and hopefully everything passes over.
This doesn't really lock from the inside, so I'm kind of just rolling the dice there at night, but I think it's fine. I mean, nothing's happened yet, so it's...
That's not a good thing to tell people when you're doing a video that has 230,000 views, which that's amazing, by the way. But yeah, you really shouldn't be telling people that your car doesn't lock, or you should make it be able to lock some way. I guess he said his $5,000 iMac's not in there though, but he's telling us that like his battery's $500. You're giving people a way to steal your stuff, so just maybe make sure it's locked up.
Also, underneath this, I actually have... This is probably a really poor design that I made, but I have something underneath this that I have to lift up the mattress, and this entire board lifts up, and I have tons of storage down here.
I don't think that's a poor design. I mean, that's just, you put your stuff that you don't need as much in there. You use every bit of storage space. That's what you got to do in these things.
I also just put up some basic lights, all of which is obviously charged or runs off of this battery here, this Jackery battery, which these lights only pull like 5 watts, so it's really, you know, nothing much at all.
5 watts, that's $1 a watt, because it's $500 for 500 watts. That's $5 then for those lights. That's not how the math works, but I'm gonna call it that.
These curtains, shout out to my mom for helping me with this, because I probably wouldn't have put this much effort into putting up curtains here. But this is really great for if you're sleeping somewhere where, you know, you want some privacy or you want some you know, darkness.
It's a good thing he has those curtains. I can't imagine just like sleeping, like you're just looking right out the window, you open your eyes in the middle of the night, so he's just right there, right in your face. Gotta have something. I would not be able to sleep like right next to a window like that, especially because he said the door's not locked. I mean, he's got his axe. See, now I'm starting to even wonder more because he's not even afraid of people, because probably he's the one with the axe. People need to be afraid of him.
So I have all these that I can just untie, and they all come down, so it can be completely dark in here at night. For ventilation, you know, I'll just use these windows here. These side windows open up pretty nicely.
I wondered about that for ventilation. Like, what are you going to do? Because I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with doing this, is it's going to get hot. And he's doing this this video is from May. So he said he's doing this for the summer. That would get hot. I mean, right now in South Carolina, it's like we just had about hundreds the other week. So I can't imagine like being in a van without AC. I guess maybe you just run the van, but you're going to be using so much gas. And I don't know. There's got to be something that you can get that like can help cool down the car or heat it up. I mean, if you're doing this during the winter or something, then you want something that heats it. Heating's a lot easier because you can just get like a space heater, I guess, and plug that in. Might be slightly dangerous. You're probably not supposed to use a space heater in a car, but I mean, you can get away with it. It's whatever. Yeah, cooling things down. I don't know if you get like a window unit or something, but doesn't seem like he has anything, so I'd be surprised to see how that's not going to get too hot.
Here's the plan. I basically want to just use this as like a camper, a thing that I can use to get away, to go on vacations. It's honestly, it is going to save me a lot of money, but that's not the primary reason why I chose to start living in my truck. So in terms of where I put my stuff, luckily my brother just bought a house, so I was able to drop off a lot of my stuff there.
Yeah, so he's even a minimalist. He has another video, I haven't seen it, where he talks about how he barely has anything in his apartment. But yeah, that's gotta be hard if you're gonna go do this. Like, what are you gonna do with all your stuff? You got to store somewhere. I mean, I kind of did this when me and my wife had to move to New York we didn't have to. We wanted to, because she had an opportunity to be there for like 6 months, and it was awesome. And we stored like all of our stuff in my mom's basement. But we sold most of our furniture, like all of our big items pretty much, and then we stored everything else there. So if you got family, that's really helpful if you can like do this just for a time.
That's the quick little rundown. I definitely left out a bunch of things, so maybe ask some of your questions down below, and perhaps in a couple of weeks or maybe in a month, I'll make an update video, answer some of those questions. Maybe if you're interested in how much it costs and all the you know, expenses that I might have with this, and give you an exact breakdown on it, we could do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see like a breakdown. Nate, please do that. Do a breakdown of costs and everything you did with this. It would be so awesome to like break that down and see the ways that you can do this and what it really costs to be able to do this, to see if it's worth it. But yeah, that's the video. Pretty cool. It's so, that kind of life is like so exciting to me to think about, like just being so free to be able to travel and just do that. It would be so much fun. Honestly, I'm hoping that there will be a time in my life that maybe I can do that. I'm getting older, so it's getting up to the time where it's like, I gotta start having kids and stuff, and that's gonna change stuff. Obviously, I can't fully live like that if I've got like a baby, but there is a time that I'm hoping that I could kind of live this life for a little bit, hopefully bring you guys along with me and live kind of that. That would be so much fun. But yeah, my final thoughts on this, it's really cool. Seems like he's done it like in a really good way too, where he is going to save money. Of course, it's not just about saving the money though, because you're going to get the experience. But I think what people can realize with doing something like this is it becomes so easy to save the money, especially when you're talking about just living in an apartment, because an apartment just kind of takes away your money. You don't really get any equity from it or anything like that. So living in a truck may not be the best financial decision long term, because actually, you know, buying a house in a good area that hopefully you could do renovations to increase the value, if you want to do that kind of thing, can be a much better financial decision where you can end up with more money. But of course, you're not going to have all the freedom you have with doing something like this. So I think it's a really cool, especially at 22, like that is the perfect time to do this. So I wish Nate all the best. That sounds like so much fun. I'm so excited. I hope he does like an update. If he does an update with prices, I will definitely do another react video on that, because I would love to see that. But that's it, guys. Like I said, if you want to check out the original video of this, it'll be in my description. But thank you guys so much for watching. This was a really fun video. I definitely want to do some more stuff reacting to stuff like this, because I just love this kind of content. It's so much fun to think about this life where you can live cheap, but also get so much experience out of life at the same time. So if you guys like this video, remember to do the cheapest thing you can today. Tap that like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the future. And remember, stay cheap.
Hey, you better be saving that money. Don't you be spending it now. You're still here watching this? You might as well just subscribe. Why would you not at this point?